Good morning, good afternoon, and welcome. I'm very pleased to be joined by Petra Schwager. Petra, you're the Chief of Climate and Technology Partnerships at UNIDO. Obviously here today in Dubai at World Hydrogen MENA. Can you tell us a little bit about your work? UNIDO is obviously the United Nations International Industrial Development Organization. I got it wrong last time I interviewed as well, didn't I? So could you tell us a little bit about some of the work you're doing, some of the partnerships, and what you see as some of the challenges in the hydrogen industry?
Yeah, cool. No, thanks a lot, and thanks for having me again.
Yeah.
We are as the United Nations Industrial Development Organization, so our aim is really aligned with the SDG 9, which talks about industry for poverty alleviation, then also infrastructure and innovation. So this is the mandate of UNIDO. And within this, and in my division, we started roughly 1.5 years ago, the program for green hydrogen in industry and its partnership. So we are moving on, and for this year we have really set our goal on addressing the key enabler for creating a global green hydrogen economy, and this we do with partners. So as key enablers, we see what do we really need to have this taken off. For sure, it is about policies, aligning also the hydrogen policies with industrial development policies. Here we are working with ARENA. We are going to publish our report in summer and then maybe launch it at the COP28. We are also working on finance. Here we are connected to the hydrogen breakthrough agenda, and we work with World Bank. We are doing at the moment a stock taking, eventually also then launching again at the COP, or maybe at India already if we are fast enough at the G20 meeting in Goa.
What does stock taking mean in reference to finance?
We are looking into what's going on at the moment, what are the finance instruments and programs available from countries, from governments, and from DFIs. We also thought about looking into private banks. Well, I think we're not there yet. We just recently had an interview with one, I'm not going to say which bank, and they said, no, the risk is still too high. Let's have the DFIs first moving in there. So looking into what is happening, because I think nobody really at the moment has a good overview. And then with World Bank seeing, okay, can we extract something there? What would be the most useful for developing countries? I mean, our mandate are developing countries. Obviously also standards. So we have come to an agreement with ISO, and of course we are working also with IPHE, and we will launch in November in Vienna the second technical committee for the ISO standard on hydrogen. You might know the last one was in Australia, and there the discussions are obviously not so much about colors, but about the carbon content, which is good. Which is okay, but we believe that there is still a room for looking at the origin or where the hydrogen comes from. So maybe we would need to have a differentiation about hydrogen coming from renewables or blue hydrogen. And I think this is also the debate now ongoing.
And any comments around the European sort of delegated act and how that's potentially impacting standards as well?
Sure, and this is exactly the point. I think we were just recently in a meeting. There will be a report published at the G7 by India, and we're working there with the IEA. And the debate is that we see that it will go towards CO2 content, but in this A, B, C, D, E, F, there should be room also for looking into renewable sources, no? And that is reflected a bit in the Delegated Act. While I understand the Delegated Act is stricter with the additionality and so on, I'm not sure that this will be addressed at the global level, I think, but I hope, and I really think it will, that the source will be considered. It's still a way to go, no? Another part is also that we very much encourage not looking also only into export for developing and transition countries. And it's very interesting, at the beginning of my work, everybody just talked about export. And then we were starting debates saying, why don't you look also what could be in it for your countries? And it's really nice to see this now happening more and more. Being Chile, Egypt, slowly starting. Morocco was always there. Oman, I just heard. So Because if you're only focusing on export, that might be a bit risky.
Yeah, and hydrogen is difficult to export. So if you've used more of it in situ and then export the products, potentially, the steel industry, you're exporting, the raw the raw steel, and it gets processed into products closer to the markets. Likewise with ammonia and fertilizers, etc. Any other sort of key challenges you think that UNIDO are looking to take on as well in terms of, capacity building and the agile getting it together?
Absolutely. I mean, just imagine how many people we will need in the global south for really getting and operating a sustainable hydrogen economy. So there's a lot of need. We want to team up with different partners here, especially also looking maybe at courses for youth and for women. So encouraging them. But if I may come back to what you said about the green products, I mean, as you rightly mentioned, they're easier to be exported than green hydrogen. So eventually this is, and there's more value added in it for the country.
Exactly.
So from our side, as we at the UN, we look into facilitating this process. And it's really, I mean, if you get it right, I believe that mainly green hydrogen could be a huge game changer for the global south, for its sustainable industrial development, for creating, there's so much needed jobs. If you get it right.
Exactly,
If you get it right.
And there are a lot of discussions around the over-provisioning of desalination and how that green hydrogen projects could then be seen as a platform, and you can hang agriculture industries, you can look at fighting back desertification and developing other industries around that green hydrogen, and also I think one of the project developers spoke earlier around that kind of circular hydrogen economy, and then indeed also potentially links to a circular carbon economy as well. So you begin to see the alignment of, say, a renewable circular economy, a hydrogen circular economy, and a carbon circular economy, and they fit together quite well, and certainly in the energy transition there is going to be sort of shifting industrial development, and these are great opportunities for the south.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think what you also mentioned is that we just discussed this morning with the UAE government eventually for the next COP to organize a high-level roundtable on the SDGs, SDGs and hydro. So we actually had planned this already for last year, but then it turned out a bit different. But really looking at the different SDGs that are touched upon by green hydrogen, and there are quite a number of them that we have to consider, and then seeing how can we link the work to this and really make sure that what we're talking about is inclusive and also environmentally sustainable.
Fascinating stuff. Well, many thanks, Petra.
Thanks
for
talking about it.
Thanks a lot for sharing those thoughts. We think there are a number of issues there. We're very keen to continue to promote and bring up and get those debates aired, and certainly get the message into the governments and your partners across certainly our portfolio of events. So many thanks for the work that you do, and we look forward to helping you in your mission. So many thanks, Petra. Take care.
Thank you very much.
Cheers. Bye-bye.